I'm attorney Martin Nicholson, the law officer Martin Nicholson, also known as a battery man for my expertise in criminal battery cases. Now, I'm going to talk today a little bit about what the Indiana General Assembly, the legislature, is trying to pass this year in the 2026 session. A couple things of note, basically dealing with criminal law. Okay, Senate Bill 62. It is one of the several bills that seems to be targeting a rise in youth crime involving guns. So it would allow the prosecutors to basically waive a juvenile with a gun to adult court. So that basically means they wouldn't go to juvenile court, they would go to adult court, but only under specific circumstances. It would also add an enhancement of penalties if the juvenile committed the gun crime around a school, okay? And it prevents juvenile delinquents from owning guns until they turn 23. Senate Bill 82 is another one. Under Senate Bill 82, what you have is it would allow the local governments, if this is passed, specifically those in Marion County, to pass firearm regulations, in other words, restrictions, that go beyond state law if they were recommended by local law enforcement. Interesting. These regulations now would still have to comply with the state and federal constitution. Now, the interesting thing about that bill is Indiana, under the law, you don't have to have a permit to carry, right? Indiana, everybody knows, is a red state, but there are 4 gun restrictions. Why is that? I thought, hey, constitutional right to bear arms. They want to put it forth gun restrictions. So I'm for gun safety. Don't get me wrong. I'm also for the Second Amendment, obviously. But it's interesting that they want to specifically kind of target Marion County and try to, I'm assuming, enact some kind of regulation that would make it easier for police to stop people with guns and things like that because they don't think certain people should own guns. We'll see how all that pans out. Senate Bill 119. Now, Senate Bill 119 is focused on keeping sexual predators away from kids. Obviously, that's the no-brainer. No one wants that. It would ban them from working at places catering to kids and families, on top of all the places they are already banned from working. So I don't know what that means in regards to a place that caters to kids. I mean, there's a lot of places that are geared towards families. I mean, you can think of a restaurant geared towards a family, the bowling alley geared towards main family and kids. So, and then of course, now the person that has any place to work, they don't have money to buy a house, they're more likely to commit crimes. So just, I'd rather have the person out there working, being a productive member of society, a social security number, all that kind of stuff like that, paying taxes, than not having any work at all. So yeah, I just don't know how many more restrictions they're going to put on people. It would also change the crime of inappropriate communication with a child to sexual grooming. And change that language, basically saying the same thing. Senate Bill 128 is another bill that would redefine a teacher as a public safety official. It'd be nice if they paid teachers more money in regards to certain battery offenses. So basically it becomes battery on a public safety official. It would also allow parents and guardians to be charged with a misdemeanor if they knew or know that their child was going to commit a crime at school with a gun and didn't notify law enforcement. The crime would become a felony, yes, a felony, if anyone was seriously hurt. Now, obviously, if the kid says, hey, I'm going to go shoot up a school, then yeah, you know, and you don't do anything. Yeah, you don't call the police, hey, my child said they're going to shoot up a school. That's one thing. But how are you really going to know if the child's going to get in there and actually hurt somebody? Because they may not tell you. Obviously, if they tell you, you're going to want to stop them from doing it. But if they don't tell you, so once again, trying to criminalize behavior and thinking of someone that is not you, it's someone else. That, hey, you should know what your child's thinking. And sometimes that's difficult, even when you're not talking about a child committing a crime. House Bill 1021 would make it illegal to leave a firearm unsecured in a vehicle or a home where a child might, once again, might get access to it if the child used the gun to hurt or kill someone. Once again, these are awful vague because, what is, how are you going to define secure? If it's hidden, you don't think that the child would know where it's at, the child gets it. House Bill 1073 would require Indiana State Police, the Indiana State Police, to begin testing their backlog of rape kits until it was eliminated. So that's good. They shouldn't even need a bill to pass that. I mean, it should just be automatic. It would also allow the state police to issue grants to other law enforcement agencies to help them eliminate this backlog. A similar bill died in the Senate after passing in the House, and that was just last year in 2025. So another bill that I find interesting, not necessarily a criminal law bill, but it's interesting because it's dealing with civics. Senate Bill 88. Senate Bill 88, this is interesting, is one of the most wide ranging bills that has been introduced in the 2026 session so far. Some of the things that are in this bill and what it would do would be requiring all public schools in Indiana to teach students they should get at least a high school diploma. Nothing wrong with that. Get a full-time job. Nothing wrong with that. And not have kids until they're married. Well, I mean, maybe I don't want to get married. Do I have to get married to have kids? But get this, it would also mandate civics classes in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, though these classes would not be able to talk about racism, sexism, or any other form of class conflict because those topics are supposedly contrary to shared principles. Well, let me get this straight. Racism, let me see this. So racism, sexism, and class conflict are contrary to shared principles. So I guess that means that it's okay for people to be racist and sexist because we don't share those principles. I share the principle that people shouldn't be racist or sexist. You don't have that. You think it's okay for people to be racist and sexist and discriminate. So because we don't share that principle, we can't talk about it. But once again, why are we even talking about getting a high school diploma, getting a job, not having kids till you're married? Maybe that's not my principle. Maybe my principle isn't I need to get a high school diploma. Maybe my principle isn't I need to get a full-time job. Maybe I want to get a bunch of half-time jobs. You know what I'm saying? What about maybe I don't want to get married. Maybe I want to be in a relationship and have kids. So you're talking about shared principles. Everybody's principle isn't to get married. And then we have Senate Bill 129. It's focused on limiting the access to social media for kids. It would make it basically official Indiana policy to recognize what they call the unique and evolving risk to the health, safety, and well-being of children who have unrestricted access, basically, to social media. They're basically saying that this is a health risk by kids having all this access to social media. The bill requires social media websites to ban kids who didn't get parental consent and make it easy for parents who did give consent to take it away. It would let the Indiana Attorney General sue social media sites that didn't comply with this rule. So, you're going to have the social media sites that don't comply with this law get sued by the Attorney General. I'm assuming that's probably going to be litigated around free speech and things like that. That's your Nicholson Nugget of the day. Please be sure to like and subscribe.